parrot. Betal started telling King Vikramaditya another story as he carried him. King Gunwant of the Avanti kingdom was a very strong ruler. He had a parrot named Choraman. He was very wise and well versed in Sanskrit. The parrot had travelled to a number of kingdoms and was well informed about people and places. One day the king asked the parrot, "Choraman, you are very knowledgeable. Please tell me where I can find a suitable match for myself." Choraman replied, "O king, in the kingdom you will find your mate. The king of Magad is Magdeshwar. He has a daughter named Chandravati. She is very learned and beautiful." The parrot described her so beautifully that the king was very impressed. He immediately sent a marriage proposal to King Magdeshwar. In the meanwhile, Chandravati also had a pet jay whose name was Madan Manjari. The marriage. She also liked the parrot because she spoke excellent Sanskrit. One day, the princess asked her, "Tell me, Madan Manjari, whom should I marry? Who is suitable for me?" Madan Manjari told her about King Gunwant. Chandravati, without even seeing Gunwant, fell in love with him. In fact, though neither had set eyes upon the other, both were mutually in love. In due course, the wedding ceremony took place with pomp and show, and soon Gunwant took leave of his in-laws and, taking Chandravati with him, left for his kingdom. Chandravati was sad to leave her mother. Therefore, she was allowed to carry her jay along with her. She later told her husband the wonderful way in which she had first heard his name. He told her about his parrot and his advice. The king said, "Why should we keep them in separate cages? Let us keep them in one big cage and get them married." Mrigneni. The newlywed Queen Chandravati liked the idea very much. So soon both the birds were put in a single cage. One day both the birds were talking to each other. Then, at the request of the jay, the parrot began to tell a story. Once there was a wealthy man. His name was Dhanardhan. He lived in Churapur. He was a kind-hearted and religious man. But sadly, he had a wife who was of loose character. They had a daughter named Mrigneni. But she too had loose moral like her mother. But she was more advanced than her mother. Dhanardhan was very ashamed of his daughter. So, at the first opportunity, he got her married. He thought maybe she would mend her ways after marriage. But he was wrong, for Mrigneni could not mend her ways even after her marriage. Hardly after a few weeks of her marriage, one of her father's servants visited Mrigneni. The murder charge. Now, this servant had been one of her former lovers, but seeing him, Mrigneni got angry. She told him to get out of her house. But the servant did not listen to her. So Mrigneni made a plan. She began to talk sweetly to him and offered him a drink. The servant drank the drink happily, but after a while he died. Mrigneni had mixed poison in the drink. The servant never had a chance of survival. The husband came home in the evening. Mrigneni greeted him very lovingly. She somehow managed to keep away her husband from the dead body of the servant. Night fell and everyone went off to sleep. Suddenly, Mrigneni began to cry and wail. She shouted, "Help! My husband has killed my father's servant." Hearing the commotion, many people gathered there. The king's soldiers were informed about the murder by her neighbors. They came and arrested Mrigneni's husband on the murder charge.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.